morning, happy Sunday. I hope you're all having a lovely sunny weekend. I am determined not to complain that it's too hot because it is lovely. So today, Style Solutions Live for you. We're talking about modern romantic style, which is perfect for this weather. When I introduced our style personalities earlier in the year, I did say I'm really looking forward to summer because I think summer is a really good time for embracing the sort of boho and the floaty skirts and the frills. So I'm going to talk you all through this style personality in particular. I'm going to talk about icons. I'm going to talk about the key pieces to have in your wardrobe if you want to embrace this personality. I'll also talk about the pitfalls, and I'll be giving you 3 tips to really kind of build this style personality into your wardrobe. So what I am aiming to do with these is to give you a framework, not rules, just a framework to help you put outfits together in a more intentional way and to feel confident and to feel excited about building outfits. Absolutely not rules, so you take what you want from this and leave other bits. I'm just trying to give some sort of ideas, inspiration and confidence around kind of getting dressed and putting outfits together, and hopefully that will mean that we shop more sustainably as well, because that is very important to us as a brand, is the kind of buying less and buying better and buying pieces that work harder for you as well. Okay, so modern romantic style we'll talk about today. I would say if we kind of look for icons of this style, I would say people like Sienna Miller, people like Vanessa Paradis would embody this style. For me, I'd say it's all about kind of femininity and embracing femininity, and that can mean different things. It can mean the kind of the pretty frills and ruffles and lace. It can mean the kind of ethereal, and it can also mean the kind of sexy. So there's sort of elements on the scale. I would say key pieces in the modern romantic wardrobe to talk through. So there is the boho blouse. And I always like to kind of talk about key pieces because I just think if you're embracing this style personality, you don't necessarily need to have a whole new wardrobe. I think it's just picking a few key pieces. So the boho blouse. When I say boho blouse, it tends to be sort of quite relaxed and quite kind of floaty. So something like the Ellen blouse, you've got the little ticking stripe, you've got a bit of a lace insert, something floaty with a bit of a ruffle, a bit of a frill, or a lace insert. A little bit of detail often characterises this style personality. So that's our Ellen blouse, something like that. Or it could be something like the Lila blouse, so you've got the lace trim, you've got the lovely sort of romantic sleeves. It tends to be a lot about kind of floaty fabrics, which is why I think it's really good in summer. So that's Lila, or our new blouse. But yeah, lovely cheesecloth, you've got the frill, you've got the lace inserts. So that kind of boho blouse, a bit of lace, a bit of frill, a bit of a ruffle, I think that is key because you can kind of wear that in lots of different ways. Charlie is new. I did show her very quickly on Thursday. When I showed Charlie on Thursday, she was very, very popular, and lots of you said you want the early access to her. If you're not on our email list, it's really quick and easy to do. Just go onto our website. There should be a pop-up, or tap on the Get 15% Off tab, and then you can just give your name and your email address, and then you'll get the emails that give you the early access to the pieces as well. But something with a frill or a ruffle, and that kind of blouse I would say is super easy. I'm going to talk a bit about kind of just adding a touch of modern romantic into your outfit. But this is a super easy way of doing that because you can team with a pair of jeans or a pair of shorts. And you've got that sort of slight nod to modern romantic styling. Another key piece I would say is a pretty dress. So pretty can mean boho, it can mean sort of more feminine. So if I were to to think about a boho dress, this is our ruby dress. Loads and loads of lovely floaty sushi voile. She's got that boho feel. You've got a little bit of frill, and then you've got the lovely tiers. So anything with tiers, anything with floaty fabric and kind of feminine shapes. I would say this is the more kind of boho, ethereal end of modern romantic. She also comes in the stripe and in the broderie, both of which are in the sale at the moment. We do have a sale on, so go and check that out. It's on the website now, up to 40% off. But all of these pieces, if you're kind of looking to dip your toe into this style, then a sale is a really good time to do that, because you can try pieces out. So it could be kind of the boho dress, but it could also be the more kind of sort of feminine broderie dress. So this is a great piece. This is the Brooke broderie dress. She, I think, is a really good way, again, of just sort of adding a hint of modern romantic to your style, because she's quite a classic cut. In many ways, a kind of slightly more sort of sharp, classic masculine cut. She's based on a shirt shape. She's a shirt dress. She's got the features of a shirt, the crisp collar, the pockets, the sort of cotton poplin edging, buttoned through. But we've given her a romantic touch because she's in this beautiful feminine broderie, and she's got the lovely feminine skirt. So again, I would say there's sort of, and I'll talk a bit more about this, but there's a sliding scale. There's a bit of a spectrum. You could go all out pretty, or you could just add a little bit of kind of femininity to your piece. But I would say a feminine dress is key, and then a feminine skirt as well. So you've kind of got the three key pieces. So it could be something boho like our tiered skirt, which is the same lovely soft sushi voile as the dress, the ruby dress. Or you could go something like tulle. We have a lovely selection of tulle, really lovely and soft. This is pearl. But again, something like that. She's just blowing in the breeze because I've got the window open. Something like tulle, a sort of pretty skirt. Again, a really nice way of kind of building your outfit around this. But we also do iris as well, which is the sort of longer version. We do iris in lots of different colours. This is the navy. I would say they would be the key pieces. If you were just to buy a few sort of foundations to build a modern romantic wardrobe around, I would say those are the key pieces. And they work with lots of different sort of tops and bottoms and accessories as well. Right, my top tips, and I'm going to go back to those pieces in a second. So one of the pitfalls, I think, of modern romantic style is it can look a bit twee. It can look not very cool if you go too far with it. So I think the key, as with all of the style personalities really, but more so with this one I think than most things, the key I would say is balance and getting the balance. So my top tips are, number one, go subtle to start. So if I think about the hallmarks of modern romantic style, you can either do it in colour, so it could all be about the pastels and the lovely kind of buttermilk shades, the lovely kind of ivory buttermilk of the pearl, or it could be about pulling your kind of your lovely pinks and your cornflower blues into your wardrobe. I would say they are the colours that you would typically associate with kind of modern romantic style, the kind of pastels, the ivories. So you can do modern romantic style with colour. You can also do it with shape. So I would say this is our Dulcie dress. This is shape-wise definitely a modern romantic shape. You've got the feminine puff sleeves, really lovely soft elastic, and then I've got the tiers. She also comes with a belt, so I could probably make her a little bit more feminine and cinch her at the waist, but I really like wearing her oversized, and particularly this weather. She's just so lovely and cool because she's 100% sustainable cotton poplin. She's just really lovely and cool, so I'm wafting around in her today. But definitely shape-wise, I would say Dulcie is that kind of modern romantic shape. She's got lots of feminine elements to the shape. But if she were in pink, for example, I think I would feel a bit like the kind of one of those dolls that you sit on top of the loo roller. It would be too, it'd be too caricature or feminine. So I would, if I were wearing this, go for, as I say, a bright colour, this kind of shape in a bright colour or a black. Similarly, I think if Ruby was in pink, she's beautiful in ivory. She's got the broderie. She's a feminine shape and she's got feminine detail in the broderie as well. But if this was pink, it would be way too much, in my opinion. Not necessarily everyone's, but that would be my opinion. So either look for colour or shape or detail. Similarly, Lenny, is it Lenny? Someone help me. This is my brain at the moment, I'm afraid. If this was in pink, this again would be too much. So I think because she is in ivory, she's got the frills and the detail. That's enough femininity. I think that kind of balances nicely with ivory, but I think if we did this in a baby blue or a lemon or a pink, it would again be too much. Lexi, thanks. Thanks, perimenopause brain, I think. Right, so Lexi was in blue or lemon, then too much. So my top tip is, in the pieces themselves, go for either shape, colour or detail. And that's definitely what we try to do with our range, is pull from one of those three, not combining them. That also carries through to your outfit. So for example, if I were to take the lovely tiered skirt, I would not combine this with the Lexi blouse. Got it right that time. I think they work together colour-wise. You wouldn't look like that's an outfit that doesn't work together. But personally, I think that's a bit too much, too kind of much femininity. What I would do instead is I'd team Lexi with something like the Alice denim shorts. So these are sort of more edgy in style, a bit cooler in style, and that I think just balances out the frills and the femininity of the Lexi blouse. Then I would team the tiered skirt with something a little bit more masculine. So I might go for the Maya rib vest, which are all back in, most colours are back in stock now. So again, a bit more simple, a bit more classic. I would team those two together. So it's all about balance. Similarly, I would say if I wanted to go for, this is our new Safi skirt. This is Safi. Safi's not yet on the website. She is coming soon. And again, if you're on our email list, you'll get early access to Safi. Really beautiful feminine print. So you've got the dark cherry colour and then you've got the pink. A really lovely piece if you kind of want that kind of, introduce a bit of feminine colour and print into your wardrobe. But I would say if I were to team Safi with the Wee Non, that is quite far down the kind of very feminine end of the spectrum. I've gone pink and pink. If I want to balance this out, I would go for something like Perfect Boyfriend t-shirt, for example, and go for a kind of more classic shape on top, more feminine on bottom. So all about balance. So go subtle to start. I would also say use colour purposely. So again, if I were to team, I would say pearl with, which is a lovely kind of, I would say quite a feminine, soft buttermilk colour. If I were to team pearl with the Alex jumper, I think too much. I love the pearl tulle skirt teamed with the Black Boyfriend t-shirt. So I've just taken a very simple t-shirt, and I just want, you know, if I were to wear this with the Alice shorts, for example, that would be quite boyish. But I've just taken a simple t-shirt and I've added a really sort of soft feminine colour, but I've done it in a purposeful way. So I've just kept that balance. So that would be my second tip, is to kind of use colour purposefully. I think what you can end up doing is, if you combine all of the feminine colours together, you can kind of get that ice cream effect where you look like a bit of a kind of Neapolitan ice cream, where you've kind of got the yellows and the pinks and the blues all together. So think about using colour purposefully. And then my tip number 3 would be to, going back to balance, would be to combine modern romantic style with other style personalities. So, for example, if I were to think about, I know lots of you are that kind of classic minimalist. So this, I would say, this is our Lottie and Lexi, our Lottie shorts and our lovely Lexi shirt. Lexi is pretty much sold out now. We do have Lottie left. This is quite a classic style, obviously quite kind of minimal. What I would do, and I know lots of you are looking for, lots of you want that co-ord feel with the Lottie shorts. What I would do, just to kind of give a tiny nod to more romantic style, but also to give you that co-ord, I would combine her with the Lila lace trim blouse, because I think colour-wise they're pretty good in terms of a match. They do give you that co-ord effect, but the Lila lace trim blouse has that sort of more feminine element to it. So for those of you who are looking for that co-ord, who haven't been able to get your hands on the Lulu shirt, then this is a good combo, I would say. So combining the classic with the romantic. Similarly, you could take, going back to the lovely Pearl, you could take Pearl and team her with the Perfect shirt. So this is in the brown, which I love this combo together. I've got the kind of classic brown. I've gone for a romantic shape on the skirt. Or you could, it's actually a shape that I think is really a really good combo. So you could combine the classic and the romantic in your outfit, but you could do it in shape. So this is the Tegan twist front dress, which I think is the perfect example of a combination of kind of classic and romantic in shape, because she's very simple, but she's just got a few little touches of femininity. So you've got the sleeve, you've got the twist front, and then you've got the tiniest sort of nod to a frill on the tiered skirt as well. She's new in, she has been selling very quickly, she's been very popular. But I think if you are someone who is more classic in style, but you like to kind of have a little bit more femininity, then she's a brilliant piece. So you can combine classic and romantic in your outfit. Similarly, the Blake broderie shirt, you've got the femininity of the broderie, but you've got the crisp classic shape of a shirt. So you can do it in a piece, you can do it in an outfit. Again, just a couple of examples. So I think romantic and edgy go well together as well. So I could do something like the Iris tulle skirt. Obviously it's got those lovely kind of soft waterfall tiers. I think because it's black, again it sort of knocks back the femininity a little bit because it's in the black. But I could make her more edgy by combining with the Skylar shoulder pad t-shirt. We are getting more of these in mid-July. They are on their way. They're in production at the moment. They're coming back in the black, white, and also a navy as well. So if I wanted to make her a bit more edgy, I'd go for something like that. And then over the top, I might go for the camo jacket as well. So that would be my kind of way to give a little bit of edge. Similarly, I think the kind of shorts for any of these pieces. Alice shorts with their raw hem, and then something like the Ellen blouse would be a very nice outfit for now. So you've got the femininity of the blouse, you've got the sort of slight edginess of the short. So they would be my top tips, I would say. Number one, go subtle to start. Choose shape, colour or detail, but not all of those things, both within a piece and within an outfit. Number two, use colour purposefully. So thinking about adding a pop of more feminine pastels, for example, or buttermilk into your outfit rather than going head to toe in feminine colours. And number three would be to balance feminine style with other style personalities. So in particular, I would say edgy outfitter and classic minimalist work really well as a way of sort of balancing out this style personality. And you can do that in lots of ways. You could do it with your accessories. So for example, take like a more edgy belt, for example, and team it with something like the Tia Tids. You could do that and make it a bit more boho and a bit less girly. So don't just feel like you've got to do this with your clothes. You can also do it with accessories as well. So I hope that helps. Right, could you mention shoes with this style? Yes, absolutely. And again, I think shoes can really balance it out. So I suppose these shoes, if you can see, I didn't look at my other foot because I've broken my toe. I've got a plaster on. But these, for example, are quite sort of delicate. So I would say probably go for a more delicate shoe if you've got tiers and you've got a floaty skirt and you don't want to sort of add too much friction to this style. But what I would say is don't go for anything too girly. So again, this sort of whole idea of colour, shape, detail, but not all of those things. So because these are quite delicate, I think they work because they are in a tan, which is more of a classic colour. Again, if these were in a pale blue, for example, I think they would be a little bit too girly. I mean, not that I'd wear pale blue with this colour, but even with something like the tiered skirt. But you can also, if you want to add friction, and you know, and I think adding a little bit of friction always makes your outfit a bit more interesting, then I could absolutely go for something like the Birkenstocks. So not feminine in colour or in shape, they're definitely more masculine. But I think they work really nicely with a floaty skirt because they add that friction, and then I think your outfit starts to get more interesting. So anything that adds that little bit of friction, I would say. But definitely but these work, whereas, for example, I don't think these would with that skirt. Because I do think you need, these feel a bit too heavy, I would say. So they add the friction. But because they're closed toe, and this is a very kind of sort of floaty, summery skirt, I think they feel too heavy. So it is about sort of thinking about kind of keeping that lightness in the shoe, even if it is with something like a Birkenstock, but not being too kind of girly. So also, I wouldn't wear heels with this. I just think this is a skirt for flats. Heels, I think, would try to make it do something that it's not meant to do. It's not meant to be a kind of occasion wear skirt, for example. No, if you have questions, I always say this, if you're watching back and you've got questions, just pop them in the comments and I will come back to you today. I'll also link the pieces I've showed as well, but they're all on the website. And we've got style personalities set up as categories as well, so if you want to shop by style personality, you can do that. I will also say we are trying to finalise a style personalities finder. So basically you give us information about your attitude to style and we work out what we think your style personality is. I'm hoping to trial that with our closed Facebook group called In the Loop. So if you want to trial that, it should be over on In the Loop this week. I'm just finalising it, hopefully today. In the Loop is a closed Facebook group, so you just have to ask to join and then I will accept it. It's a really lovely group of people, lots of people selling their second-hand 11 Loves pieces to each other as well, sharing outfits, so it's a really lovely community. So you get all of that, which is the kind of main purpose of it, but also I test out ideas with that group as well, and everyone gives me very honest feedback. So if you're interested in the whole style personalities piece and want to be a guinea pig for our style personalities finder, then sign up there, and I'll pop a link in at some point over the next week, and you can try it out for me and give me your view. But that will be live on the website once we've finessed it within the next couple of weeks. Take care, have a lovely weekend, bye.